This is Catherine.
Yes, hi, Catherine. I was just transferred to you from the main switchboard. I hear that you are like an administrator over the district attorney's office.
I'm the district attorney's administrative deputy.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, good to meet you. The name is William Montgomery.
Uh huh.
I just wanted to start off asking some really basic questions to get right to the bottom of it. Um, uh, First and foremost, a police officer can commit a statutable offense. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm sorry. A what offense?
A statutable offense, like a charge, a criminal charge. A police officer can commit a crime that would, like I've seen online, like, um, obviously the false imprisonment charge is the most common, but
Oh, you mean a statutory offense?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Well, obviously, any individual can commit a crime, regardless of their career choices.
yeah, exactly. Okay, good. That's first question down. Is it, because the next question is kind of like when it comes to say an officer that doesn't have probable cause, is the statutable type of offense, can that only be discovered through a 42 USC case then, or is it, if it's obvious or heinous enough, is it something that you guys, the DA's office, would be able to take on themselves right away?
Well, I can't give you legal advice, but from a hypothetical standpoint, I can tell you that police officers can be charged with federal crimes or with state crimes if there is evidence to support that.
Okay.
Just as any other citizen can be charged with a crime.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I thought too. I guess it seems from the research I've been doing that a lot of times people don't charge the cops with the crimes of when they go detain someone illegally, because that always gets funneled through a 42 USC, but that's just a civil court. And so what kind of, I mean, what would the criminal charge be for, and how would a criminal charge be discovered for an officer that lacked arguable probable cause?
Like I said, crimes are charged based on what the evidence supports. I mean, crimes all have criminal statutes all have elements, and you have to meet all those basic elements and have the admissible evidence to support.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, you're asking a hypothetical question. I can't really give you an answer to.
No.
All I can tell you is that law enforcement officers, as with anybody else, if they break a law and there is evidence to support a charge of that crime against them, they can be charged with that crime.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly. But so the crime would be not how to put this. Not having arguable probable cause, but then that all never really gets discovered, at least in my research, until one gets to a 42 USC to have that judge decide it. But that's, like I said, that's always on a civil side. Have you ever dealt with officers that you charged them with false imprisonment, for instance, for not having arguable probable cause? And did you yourselves, were you able to figure out that they had no arguable probable cause because there's already established case law out there and so forth and so on?
I cannot answer that question. I have no idea.
Okay. Let's jump right past the hypotheticals then. If an officer, okay, so officers are supposed to be tasked with knowing all of governing law, at least with well-established law out there and so forth and so on. If an officer, say, doesn't know the definition of a street, and they issue a ticket on a private drive, like a stop sign ticket, and the elements of the actual statute that they wrote their ticket of said, a stop sign on a street, and in their municipal code book, the definition of a street is the entire width between property boundary lines. That would be pretty obvious that they at least correct me if I'm wrong, that they wouldn't have any arguable probable cause there. It'd be pretty blatant that they just picked somebody up off of private property. Is that some sort of charge that you guys would be able to pick up?
You're asking me for a legal analysis that I can't give you.
Okay, I'm actually trying to just report a crime. I'll jump right to it.
Okay, if you're trying to report a crime, you need to report that to the appropriate law enforcement agency.
Yep, already did that, and that's why I'm going up the chains, and I'm up to you now.
Okay, but the system doesn't really operate like the military with a sort of chain that functions that way. If you've reported it to the appropriate law enforcement agency to investigate, it's their job to investigate and to bring any evidence of a crime to the district attorney's office to review. And if they have declined to do that, we don't go out and conduct our own investigation into it typically.
Okay, so that's exactly where I'm at, where the Internal Affairs
if you feel like you've reported this and you're not satisfied with how the law enforcement agency treated you, the appropriate steps for you to take would be to contact their internal affairs.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I already did that, and they did the same thing, and they're actually co-conspiring with those officers to let them get out of that crime. And so where do I report internal affairs to and co-conspiring charges?
Well, that I would have to research and get back to you on. I'm not really sure.
Well, sure, that's okay. That's the best answer I've gotten so far in terms of honesty. Could I simply leave you with a direction to go for this particular crime?
Sure. Why don't you tell me the law enforcement agency and the officer and all that?
Absolutely. Thank you. So it was
I have to let you know I have a meeting in about 5 minutes, so I need it to be fairly quick.
Oh yeah, it is so quick. That I ended up making a YouTube playlist with all the evidence because I caught it all out on tape, and I recorded all my conversations with Internal Affairs on up too. So the entire thing you can go through yourself. In fact, I had already contacted Jane about this, and she hung up on me. So she's basically part of the DA's office there, the chief investigator.
We have a couple. We have several Janes here, so you have to be more specific.
I think she was the chief investigator over there.
Jane Harmer.
Yeah, and so her voicemail or her audio of me trying to talk with her is in this same playlist. We've been given the runaround before in the past.
So you're recording me now too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
okay.
That's life. But I got to protect myself.
You gonna keep venue shopping here, Mr. Montgomery?
Not venue shopping. I'm just trying to go to the next appropriate channel. And
okay, yeah. I'm thinking that perhaps there is no next appropriate channel. That's really my thought.
Well, if you watch the playlist, you can understand the full situation. All you have to do is type into YouTube, false arrested by Boulder police for holding a sign on a private drive. And it was the 29th Street Mall private drives there, and Officer Bliley and his team went ahead and thought that they could consider that a public street, and we vehemently pointed that out to them live. They ignored us. We talked to their internal affairs. They ratified that that was a public street for the purposes of that statute, which didn't go anywhere. We went straight to the municipal court, didn't go anywhere. I mean, it dropped right there. They actually were rather embarrassed, gave us a motion to dismiss live. But then I tried to report that back to internal affairs again. They didn't like that. That's all on audio. And then I went to try to explain that to Jane. She didn't really like that. She hung up on me there too. And so the next place
that you want to have happen?
Well, ultimately, criminal co-conspiring charges. Racketeering activities. I mean, we caught live everything, literally. And so the only other path that we can go is to the mayor and stuff. But I feel like the types of criminal accusations are pretty accurate if you go through the actual audio. They basically fit the bill of falsifying information, attempting to influence, the whole thing. I mean, it's there.
Have you tried the city attorney's office?
They're actually part of it too. We went all the way to the city attorney. She
vast conspiracy is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
They're all literally trying to cover it up because it's so ugly. It's like an image problem type thing. It's a perfectionist thing. We catch it. We've actually caught it a lot. Let me say this real quick. It's the type of thing that we've caught in Denver, where we caught a DU security guard, which we thought was a cop. We asked him if he was a cop, and he ran our names as if it was a cop without cops present, and we found out he wasn't a cop after the fact. We called in their local police, and they said that, oh yeah, they only detained you for like a couple minutes, and they basically ratified that that was okay, and we reported that on up the chains.
Let me ask you something, Mr.
Sure.
Is this something you do? Is this your avocation? Is this the way you make money? Like, what exactly are you doing here?
Okay, so my brother and I basically have been trying to simply report crimes for so long that when we started becoming really good and accurate at it, people literally started discriminating and denying our exculpatory evidence to our faces. And we started exercising more and more rights, and we keep getting more and more retaliated against, and the cases just keep getting simpler and simpler, but bigger and bigger. And so we're just trying to get around to, I kid you not, about 50 to 60 cops in 10 different jurisdictions. And we've literally had every single one of these cases dropped. It's akin to human trafficking. I kid you not, we have caught a homeless human trafficking type discrimination ring.
Oh, okay. I've heard of this scam, yeah.
Scam. Oh, please watch our videos. And I don't even have half of them up yet. I kid you not. There is a Christian ideology problem where people can't admit simple things like definitions that they get wrong. And then we end up getting wrongfully convicted as a result of it. Or we fight in court. We usually gets dropped in court. If not, the cop doesn't show up to court. If not, the cops ask for their tickets back. I can assure you this is not a scam. We are extremely good. We came from a very, very well-educated background, and we keep getting discriminated against by people like you who don't want to believe basic fact. And so,
and what are you being discriminated against?
Defamed as a pro se attorney that won't be believed.
No, I don't understand. What's the basis for saying you're being discriminated against by?
When our evidence and our witness testimonies get denied to our faces, our exculpatory evidence, it's kind of like being a second-class citizen. And so we'll tell people, we'll go to court and we'll actually point out things like, that's hearsay. And the people, juries will basically side with the reputation of the cop because they don't want to admit that their cops don't know jack diddly squat.
So the jurors are all part of the conspiracy too.
Not conspiracy. We've had juries that have successfully understood us and been able to rule.
This is like your job. This is like your job is to go out and get ticketed by police for various minor municipal infractions so that you can prove that they're wrong. Is that it? Do I have that right?
Actually, you are so in trouble for saying that. Our job has always been to exercise our rights for some original problems that we had a very long time ago. And we have a very big problem with our family defaming us and not giving us the type of help that we need. So that we ended up having to go out there and exercise our rights in very strange places. And there's not very many places that we can do it at. So we end up getting places where it looks...
exercising, Mr. Montgomery?
Exercising right to hold a sign on places that are safe, and also sleep in places that are safe. As in, we're outside of parks. We are responsible enough to read statutes ahead of time.
What's the purposes of holding the sign? What's the purpose of doing that?
Money, help. Financial help, as well as other help, as well as food help, as well as anything that it takes to get our paperwork out in one step at a time. And so
you're begging.
Say what?
You're begging.
No, that is that's derogatory. See, that's discrimination. We're canvassing, and it's not begging. We don't beg. We don't even say anything. We literally hold a sign and wave.
Oh, you're asking people for money.
Not even money. Nope, not asking and not for money. See, nope. Resources, places to type our paperwork out. We have a van, places to park, places, literally.
Handouts.
Nope, not handouts. We literally need our time back so that we can put together our witness statements. We have been behind on so many witness testimony statements that we started. Okay, look, I lost my job through an illness and I got assaulted out of my house through a drunk roommate. Ever since then, before then I had legal problems and I was putting together my paperwork. It actually gave me time to get my paperwork together by losing my job in place. But then once I started getting moved around for simply places to sleep, even though I'm responsible enough to use maps and stay out of people's parks, I kept getting picked up as their quote unquote niggers. And so there's a homeless discrimination problem and a denial about that problem that is currently going on in this entire sector. And we've caught so much of it, 10 jurisdictions of it, that it doesn't even apply now to homelessness. It's actually an entire problem with the entire system of guilty until proven innocent. Tell me, should I be able to go to a Walmart and not show my receipt and get arrested falsely for shoplifting? Because that happened at a Commerce City Walmart. I didn't show a receipt, and they literally thought I was guilty enough to arrest me. And then what do you know? I showed them the receipt right afterwards.
Were you convicted of that shoplifting charge?
I showed them the receipt right after they wrote me the ticket, and they got really butthurt, and I got internal affairs involved right away and shut it down. Sometimes I don't wait. Sometimes I might not say anything at all and go all the way to court and see if people are willing to not actually go off of evidence, off of what real facts are.
Yeah, I guess when you don't have a job and you're not earning an honest living, you have a lot of time to do that.
You do realize I did have a job. I was a computer repair technician in Fort Collins. I was actually the lead technician. I'm very, very, very good at what I do. I ended up, what you don't understand is that I'm actually fighting a wrongful conviction of the person who wrongfully convicted Timothy Masters. You know Judge Blair? I tried to report that 3 people had stolen from me in a time where I was a kleptomaniac. That was a medical condition that I didn't get diagnosed correctly from my parents who had abused me when I was a child. And I got duped and convinced to plead guilty to crimes I didn't even do. And ever since then, my brother's been my only witness. And him and I have been going nowhere because no one wants to help us at all. And all we do is keep collecting more cronies. And we keep getting more educated about them. And to be honest, I have never met somebody so statistically fraud in my entire life as you, that you can literally start throwing these things out like scams and conspiracies when I have hundreds of hours of recordings at this point. Okay. All of the exact same type of behavior. It's a pattern of behavior, actually. It's very well caught. And if you were to listen to us and watch the videos, you would actually understand before you throw yourself under this bus. But you're treading a very dangerous line right now. So are you going to go ahead and are you going to investigate conspiracy charges, or are you going to add yourself to the same complaint?
Mr. Montgomery, I'm really sorry for you, and I'm sorry for everything that has brought you to this point in your life, but I can't help you with this. Goodbye.
So, there you go. Added.
Who is that?
Administrator.